Gardner's is honored to be Lancaster's favorite mattress store 15 years in a row, voted a favorite every year since 2010. Every day of the year we work to be your favorite mattress store, and we earn the right to be a favorite with you, our next customer, with the way we help you wake up happy and find the right fit. And remember, it's not a mattress until you wake up happy on one from Gardner's Mattress & More. Double Deal savings events happening now.
You're listening to the Bulldog Hour, getting you inside the Wilson football program with weekly game previews, recaps, highlights, and interviews. Now, here are your hosts, Joe Mays and Justin Raffoff.
Good evening, Wilson football fans, and welcome back to the Bulldog Hour here in Season 11, celebrating our 10th anniversary of the program, believe it or not. Unfortunately, I'm not here with Justin Raffoff tonight. My normal co-host not available to make it. It's still the middle of summer, and I will apologize for my voice. I lost it yesterday screaming at the Savannah Bananas game, which was absolutely fantastic, but I am all kinds of squeaky and awful right now, so sorry about that. But you could probably hear that I'm not alone. I'm filling in for Justin Raffoff this evening is a familiar face on the program. He's been with us many times. More recently, over the last few years, it's been in a pre-recorded segment with the rest of the coaches. But from time to time, I like to get them on here live. And that's what we're doing this evening. And let me introduce my co-host for tonight, Wilson defensive coordinator Ernie Wolber.
Bang, bang, shooter.
Coach, right back here. Again, it's been a few years since you've been on the program.
Yes, it's been a few.
I know you have watched Happy Gilmore too.
Yes.
I haven't gotten to see it yet. I'm very excited. Was it good? Did you like it?
It was a little different than I expected,
Okay.
but the cameos and just it's a classic. It's good.
Did it do the first one justice? Because I know that's a comedy
Absolutely.
classic.
It was a great ending of the series.
Okay, good. I look forward to watching it here shortly. But we're not here to talk about Adam Sandler or golf. We're here to talk about high school football, and obviously we're going to focus on the Wilson Bulldogs, as we do on this show from time to time.
Yeah, I can coach football, but swinging a golf club's a little different.
So who's the best golfer on the staff? I feel like there's a couple guys in the running there.
Well, Dom's depending on how his body feels.
All right, I was going to say, I figure Coach Dom's is probably
Every now
up
and then
there.
Palm can let it loose.
Okay.
And Chad probably.
I was going to say, I feel like Chad, the three I was thinking of, I was like, it's got to be Doug, Chad, or Jeremy.
Yeah, I would say.
From the few times I've been at the Open Classic and not destroying golf carts as I want to do at the Manor
you've
from
heard
time
story
to time.
for that.
But no, we're looking forward to a fun show here, and this is kind of, it's the second episode of our 11th season. Back in February, Justin and I actually had on Matt Ginter, class of 2015.
Okay.
He played football for me at West, and then Justin stole him for water polo, so you didn't get to coach him. But he's a triathlete, and it was great to kick off this season a little different, have someone on with Wilson roots and Wilson athletic roots, but not specifically high school football. But now we're into it. It's July 27th, and we are ready to rock and roll. You have youth camp this week.
Yeah, youth camp starting tomorrow.
And then a week from tomorrow is heat acclimatization, which is just a fancy way of saying summer football practices begin. Maybe not full padded.
No, we wear shoulder pads and a helmet. Minimal contact, but we do what we can.
Yeah, and I will be up to visit you guys the next 2 weeks, both talking to the players this coming Wednesday and then the rest of the coaching staff the following Wednesday during Heat Ac. So, the season is right around the corner, and what better way to start than talking with one of our coaches about the upcoming season. But before we do that, I do want to mention a few things here, some housekeeping that we have to do. Since we are in a new season, we started with a fresh slate of sponsors, and I put the word out, and people jumped right on board. So I appreciate all the new sponsors, old sponsors, including my dad and May's Sandwich Shop for always being there for us from the beginning. Now, as we are started July 31st, 2025 is when Justin and I made the announcement that we were going to bring the show back after I talked with Coach Doms at a Tradition Club meeting, and he gave the blessing for it to happen. And you've been dealing with us now for 10 years.
You know what? Congratulations, first off. I didn't know that. But you guys do a great job. I mean, it's fun the way you give the kids a voice and let them speak their opinions, and talking to them at great times and knowing to stay away with the worst of times. It's good. I like to see the kids get their voices out there, and it's funny to watch them talk all the time and watch that camera light go on, and you don't hear a lot of words.
It's well, we like to keep it positive here. We don't dwell on the negatives. We don't, we know, like you said, we know when to stay away, but we know when to dive in and pry. And the beginning of the year is a great time to do that.
Absolutely, everybody's optimism.
Everyone's 0-0, right?
You got
it's
it.
a fresh season. There's no better way than talk about a fresh season than what happened in 2024. And we're going to talk about that before we dive into 2025.
Sounds good.
But I also want to thank our new sponsors. Have a couple here this season, including Gardner's Mattress and More. You can check them out in Lancaster, right behind Park City. You heard their commercial there at the beginning of the program. Thankful to partner with Jeff and Gardner's Mattress and More. And also our realtor, Eric Weiser, longtime Wilson sports fan, has been following the Bulldog Hour probably since we started here. I know a handful of people that have. And Eric's one that's been around for a while. He jumped on board this season as a sponsor, and we appreciate Eric Weiser from Berkshire Hathaway Home Sale Realty. And if you have any interest in joining the people that have re-upped or joined us in 2025 here for season 11, you can do so. Just reach out to me, and I can get you that information. Do want to mention one congratulations. We did it I think back in February, but it was just given to her and the Athletic Training Association Summer Summit down in Orlando. Kieran Milagrana was given the Service Award by the National Athletic Trainers Association. So congratulations to Kieran. Couldn't think of anyone better to be in charge of Wilson Sports Medicine.
No, it's awesome for her. I'm so proud of her. Congratulations, Kieran. She's a special person. Beyond being a trainer, she's a close friend of mine. She's helped me and my wife out in a couple situations. She's awesome. She cares about the kids. She cares about everybody. She looks to help everybody. So congratulations, Kieran. I'm really happy for you.
All right, so I'll throw up the season preview, the schedule up there, just to refresh everyone's memory, including yours. I'm sure you have no idea what the order of the games are. You're just focused on that Cheltenham one at the top.
That's the
right?
one.
That's
you
the one.
got it.
So there's the schedule. If you haven't seen it already, those of you out there watching and listening, there are 6 home games this year, which is awesome. We're going to preview all these individually. Justin and I will in about a month. We got some time here. We're going to talk about a lot of other things. But if you haven't seen the schedule yet, there's an idea of what is happening. All right. So, Coach, let's dive in now. Let's first take a look back and kind of wrap up things with 2024. We did a preview with you and the rest of the coaches, talked to the players. Like always, everyone's very optimistic, but there were a lot of question marks. Felt like there were maybe a few more question marks entering 2024 than there had been the last couple years. But I know 2022 and 2023, despite people returning, didn't come together, I think, like a lot thought was going to happen, both in and outside of the building. Then last year, I think there were a lot more question marks, but things came together really quickly. I think faster than a lot of people outside the program expected. Whenever you have that question mark at quarterback because you don't know who it's going to be, people wonder how good the season's going to go.
Yes.
Well, it went really well. What was the biggest reason for that success last year?
In 2 words, Maddox Gruber.
Okay. Just that simple, right?
I mean, honestly, Maddox saved us so many times in situations. He was a difference in a lot of games. But not to take away from the other guys, it just we kind of found a brotherhood last year. We kind of came together a little more than the previous 2 teams. Not that they weren't tight, but it just seemed like last year, like they kept hearing behind their ears, "Oh, we're being questioned," and it kind of flipped a switch. And I noticed as the year went on, especially this summer, we went to East Stroudsburg for summer camp, and we had a really good camp and came out of there with a different attitude. And I think we're kind of getting an attitude back now. So I think it's more an emotional and an attitude thing. Like these kids showed up and they understand what's in front of them. And we did tweak defensively a little bit to make our defense a little better last year, getting more speed on the field. But we feel as if, we're excited for the year and the kids can't wait to get started.
Did you feel that coming out of camp this year? Was this a good bonding experience, a good time up at East? That's where you were again,
East Stroudsburg. Yeah. No, we did a good camp. Came out healthy and relatively healthy and a little better, which is our goal going into camp. And At times, we got pushed around a little bit when it gets some good competition. Some kids showed up and weren't backing down to the Mighty Wilson Bulldogs, as people say. And they wanted to show what they had. So things got a little feisty a few times. But we didn't back down. We held our ground. We fought back. And every time we faced adversity, we came back and actually went against the other team. And we got the momentum against us. So.
What were some of the teams you were seeing at East Stroudsburg this year?
We saw Wayne Hills from New Jersey. We saw
Phillipsburg too.
Yeah, Peaburg. We went against from Jersey. I'm trying to think. Went against Central York, which is always a perennial power. And they're loaded again. Unfortunately, they're loaded again. Tough for us.
I heard there's a team closer to the middle of the state that's pretty loaded too, coming back again this year.
Yeah, they weren't in camp last year, so they weren't in camp last week. So I'm not worried about those guys quite yet. But trust me, they're in the back of my mind all the time, like everybody else's. But no, like I said, Peaburg, Wayne Hills, Central York. Some of the bigger programs, I can't remember everybody against. I apologize to those schools. But we had good competition. Like I said, we came out healthy. A couple guys banged up going in, but they got out healthy, so we're in pretty good shape.
Maybe you didn't face them, but were there other D3 teams or LL teams at camp with you?
I don't think anybody from the LL was there. Most of the teams were like Pocono, one of the Pocono schools we went against one night. One of the Stroudsburg schools we went against, one of South. I forget which one it was. But so no, nobody from District. Well, actually, the only District 3 team was Central York.
Okay. So new faces, new alignments, new formations, new schemes. Something you could test your overall knowledge against without having familiarity.
Exactly. Like we come out our first game and they come out in a wing tee, double tight, straight tee set. And we're like, what is this? Like we're in a 3-4 ready to go like everybody does in the summer.
Right.
So kind of shocking. So we didn't change much. We just blitzed a little bit more out of it. But it was kind of a shocking thing to see when you go to a team camp like that, seeing a straight tee, double tight.
Is it interesting to see how the players react when you're in maybe in an alignment that's not the best against what you're being thrown at, but you don't want to change it because you want to learn your system?
Oh, yeah.
But like, what are you thinking as a coach when you see you're like, oh, that's not great, but let's see how they...
Well, I forget who was against, but Coach Priani actually looked like the bad guy here because I tell him to run a defense. They came out and empty, and they motioned to quads, which is 4 guys on one side. And we were in man at the point, which isn't the greatest, and they motioned into quads into the boundary, which means they're running to the wide side of the field. So it was terrible. They all ran crosses across the field, and our kids were chasing everybody. And I looked at Rick, sorry. And everybody's going, that was a terrible call, Coach. That was a terrible call. Actually, it was against PV last week. That's right. And I'm like, I'm not going to say it was my call. Like, that's on you, Rick.
Oh. So, let's see. So, the finish 2024... What were you thinking last summer about the team that you had with all the unknowns? You knew you had so many positions to fill. What were you thinking entering the season?
Honestly, there was so many questions, and we weren't real good last summer. Secondary, we struggled, and we were young back there. Obviously, we're experienced this year. We had a lot of new starters back there. I think we had one returning starter. And McGregor Gruber, that was it. Mm-hmm. So we're replacing all new guys. So the summer we have some issues with route combos, route recognition, getting over top of routes. We're kind of leaning to one side or the other. So in the summer there was some heated words with kids, and there was some get off the field. We had to learn under fire, and then it took till probably the HEDAC week. After that, we started to understand a little more, and then I started to look. Hey, maybe we got a lot of speed. And it just started to grow, and I can't say enough about our front line last year. I mean, our front 3, whoever was in there, we played a bunch of guys, did a tremendous job. I mean, Junior Catul, Reiniger, Mel, Glover played some, Jesse Etchberger played, Tolles, all those guys did a phenomenal job for us up front to make us that good because they were forcing double teams, and that's what ultimately made our defense better. So going in, that was my concern. No experience up front either, but these guys took the bull by the horns and really did a nice job of making us better. And we knew we were going to be against the run at that point, but the pass, we were worried. As you saw against Nazareth, I mean, they kind of torched us pretty good. But we learned, got better as the year on. We got more confidence, and I think the kids are ready to play now.
Yeah, so you bring it up, and it was probably one of the last things I wanted to say about 2024. And we mentioned we don't talk to you guys after losses. We know how all of you coaches and players are feeling across the board, whether it's a bad loss, a blowout loss, or a loss like the Nazareth one, where it's you felt like you had it and you just let it slip through. what was the thinking there because of at least in the first half, the high scoring affair, the rapid back and forth, touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, back and forth, back and forth. How do you as a coach go into that and talk to the players and get them to just tell them you need to calm down and you need to focus on what we know to do and it'll work? Because in the second half, that's exactly what happened. It was a completely different game in the second half.
Well, they came out and obviously have a stud quarterback. And they had two pretty good receivers.
I don't know if you know this. He's back again this year, though.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, I heard that.
And I think he's at where's he going?
Auburn now.
Yeah.
We're on school 3.
Exactly. So, but no, we knew coming in he was good, but we didn't see anybody with that kind of speed at wideout, and they were talented. They weren't only speed; they were very gifted athletes, and very good at wideouts. And they got us in trouble a few times. We tried to play some matchup with them, and it just wasn't working. So, when at halftime, told the kids, "Let's calm down, let's regroup." Now, what can we do? And you kind of get them into what do you feel confident doing? And the boys talked a lot about we can cover them, coach. We can cover man-to-man. We can cover man-to-man. I'm like, all right, we're going to play a lot of man-to-man then. That means you're going to bring the rain, bring the heat. And if you can match up, let's go to work. And it was kind of a mutual decision, but the kids understood it. And they came out in the second half and stopped them a couple times. And that just, oh, wow, we can play man. We can hold these guys up. Then he broke that 58-yard run, which he was a burner on because he blew right by us. But bad play by Christo. Sorry, Christo, but you made a bad play there. I'll never forget it. But anyway, no, so we knew we had control and we could handle them that way. So it's just a matter of going in, trying to figure out what we can do. And a lot of times it's what the kids think they can do. Like, yes, linemen and linebackers, what can we do in this situation? What do you feel comfortable with? What gaps are opening? And try to get their input at halftime, and that really helps in the second half game plan.
What was the best team you went up against before you met Harrisburg in the district final? Who do you think was the best opponent last year? Was it Nazareth? Was it Township? Well, what did you see?
I thought going in, Nazareth looked very, very good in their 2 games before us. And I was quite concerned going in. Playing them, they're very good. But the combination of the whole front, I thought Township was better.
Okay.
I thought Township just a little better front than they had. They could move people a little better, pass protect a little better. So I thought Township was better. Honestly, Central York might have been the best team we played last year besides, Harrisburg.
Okay.
They had everything. They have great running back, great quarterback, great wide receivers. They scared me not as much as the Cougars, but they scared me a lot going into that game.
Now, Township beat them at the beginning of the year, correct?
Yeah, real close game, I believe. Yeah,
close game. Okay. Yeah.
And actually, they play, I think, week 2 this year again, too. So
yeah. Well, that's what I was bringing up. Like, who were you impressed by last year? Just because you have the same schedule this year, it's just flip-flopping home and away.
I don't know. Supposedly, Cheltenham returns a lot.
Okay.
And they had some speed. They had some kids who get after it. It was a hot day. It kind of wore down. But they should be get after. Actually, Mike Drago reached out to me about what games I think are going to be tough in non-leaguers. I said, well, Cheltenham returns a lot. Plymouth White Marsh doesn't return a lot, but they're always good. I mean, they're a 9-10 win season year after year after year. So they're going to just reload. And you got Nazareth coming down. So I don't know which one's going to be the toughest game. But those are 3 tough non-leaguers, and hopefully get through them pretty well.
Coach Dom sits at 196 wins, so he only needs, as a head coach, I should say, because obviously he's been around for way more wins than 196.
A little bit.
As head coach, he's sitting at 196. So we'll see how the beginning of the season goes, and I know he would want me to say hopefully he gets to 200 this year. He's not making any promises.
Well, again, we're guaranteed. We're hopefully win one.
Right, exactly.
And go from there.
You'll get one. That's what he's confident you'll get one.
Yeah.
But after that, it's anyone's game. Well,
now always is.
Last year, it felt, we talked about how things kind of came together quickly, it seemed like, for the team. Struggles a little bit in the spring and early summer, came together the second half through camp, and then the game started. Had a little issues with Cheltenham because they changed the location and the day of the game, and it was so hot, and you weren't sure what to think during that game.
It was ugly. It was an ugly game.
I think everyone was happy to get out with a win and then move on. But then the Plymouth White Marsh game happens. And I think that was, I don't want to say a turning point because there wasn't really anything to turn yet, but that's when I think that's when the players' confidence shot through the roof.
Oh,
that they could hang with these guys, that they could beat them at their game because they knew they wanted to pound the rock, that they wanted to run the football, and the defense shut them down.
Well, that's when we were talking earlier about our defensive looks. We played a 4-4 primarily against them last year, which is something we don't play all the time, but they were a running team. And our linebackers loved that because you were there. That protected you in a 4-4. I mean, you have linebackers running free all day
Fantastic,
long,
yeah.
and you just can make plays.
EJ and Brady were all over the place.
They were loving it because they never got touched. So it's just a matter of understanding what a team does and putting your kids in the best position to succeed. And, those guys really took advantage, and coming in all week, we're hounding them. These guys are big and nasty. And we showed up and played pretty hard that night. And I think that was a turning, like you said, Joe. I think it kind of like, wow, we can play with these guys, and because it was some question marks going into that game. They're returning a ton from the previous year. So they came out and played hard, and I think it was a turning point for us defensively. We understood, hey, we can be physical too. We knew we were fast, but we showed we could be physical too.
Yeah, that was a statement to me. I thought that was because they had so much back. They were such a good team the year before, and they're a great program, like you mentioned. So coming out and beating them 21-7, and just being physical, tough, and aggressive, felt like we hadn't seen that as much as we had wanted to over the last few years, and that just. That felt like Wilson football to me.
Well, and we brought it up later in the year. But I think we talked at Reading. You were talking to me and Coach Perry, Andy Rick, and we had said that our focus last year was just to get tougher, not to be necessarily tough guys, but just be tougher, more physical. Like when teams run the ball, make them feel not wanting to run the ball. Demoralize them, beat them up. Overwhelm them. Because the more you overwhelm them, the slower they're going to be, and the less emotion they're going to have, unless they're going to play. So you got to keep playing. And we bought into that last year of being the toughness, and I can see it carrying over this year, which is nice.
Yeah, that's a good lesson. That's one to carry along because you're going to face a few teams this year. They're going to want to pound the rock.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to that. But last thing for 2024. What do you think it meant to that senior group that had not yet won a league championship? I know a few of them had because they were freshmen on that 21 team, but we talked about it in the offseason with them leading up to last year. They were a senior class that had not won a championship. They didn't have a league title to their name. Do you think that played into their motivation for the year?
It's not like as coaches, we don't harp on that. We bring it up occasionally. It's not like we pound it, and that's not trying to be, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. That's legit. We don't bring that up a lot. The kids bring it up, and they'll look around and ask us questions. Oh, yeah, it's our last championship. And they kind of look around and like, wow, yeah, every school, every kid that come through here in 3 years has won at least one championship. So they kind of see it, and they took it upon themselves and took it and rode with it. And honestly, going into township, we knew that was going to be an absolute war, and our kids showed and probably played the best game they played all year. At the most important time.
Right. Yeah. I have no better way to finish right there in the regular season out on top on the road. Always good to beat a rival, a team that's been really pushing over the last almost decade now. It's Wilson Township, and all of the previews say that all the time, and have been probably since about 2016. I think.
I saw a ranking, and they're in the top 25 in the state, and we're not.
I did. I saw that one as well. Talked about it with Doug at the Tradition Club meeting.
Favorite, yeah.
They were, I think, like 19,
something like that,
and that's across all levels.
Yes,
not just 6A or anything like that.
Yeah, it's every public and private.
That was everything, public, private, 6A to 1A.
Yeah.
And they were 19. Wilson was not in the top 25, which is all great stuff for me to just send to the seniors throughout. I always thank Jeff Reinert and his Lancaster Online buddies whenever they say anything, pick against us. Like last year when the writer in the Township preview talked about how Township was the team and that Wilson used to be, and Wilson is trying. That one made the rounds a little bit.
That was mentioned once or twice.
Yeah. All right, so 2025, 6 home games.
Awesome.
How do you feel as a coach knowing you don't have to worry about an extra bus ride?
Pretty good, honestly. I mean, when we travel, we're leaving here at 3:30, 3:15, sometimes 3 if we're going to Penn Manor. So that kind of makes it for a long night. I mean, not getting back to the building till 11 o'clock at night. Not having that, you show for a home game, you get there, 4:30-ish, and you're out of there, 9:30, quarter to 10. So it makes travel time is awesome, and you don't got to be away from your family so far. And just that ride, especially after you lose a game, that ride is always brutal. Not a big fan of that.
So I guess is Plymouth Whitemarsh, is that not a bit of a drive? Going to be down to District 1?
Plymouth Whitemarsh, yeah, that'll be a little bit of a drive. I'm not actually sure, but actually, Mr. Hunsinger graduated from there.
He did, yeah. We mentioned that last year.
Yeah, but yeah, I would assume it's an hour 15, hour 20 down in that vicinity.
Okay.
So really, I mean, who are we against this year away? I don't even know who we are.
So it's game 2, which it's There's no week 0. I'm done with that. That's
exactly.
awful.
So
Game 2, week 2 at Plymouth Whitemarsh. That's the first away game. Then you got 2 straight home, Nazareth and Reading. Game 5, Cedar Crest is in Lebanon. Then you flip-flop home away the rest of the year at Hempfield. So we're down in Landisville for Game 7. And then you're in Lancaster, but not at McCaskey.
No, Lancaster
You're at
Catholic.
Lancaster Catholic for Game 9. That's October 17th.
Yeah, those aren't bad rides. Plymouth Whitemarsh will be the longest.
Yeah. So Justin and I already joked, we're not going to McCaskey. We don't get to stop at our favorite McDonald's right on campus.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He's joking. We never stop at that McDonald's.
There
is always a ton of people
before and after the game.
Before and after the game, it's crazy.
Yeah, you avoid at all costs.
Yeah, completely. But so we're going to Lancaster Catholic for the Game 9, October 17th at McCaskey. I want to make sure I say that often because I know when that game comes up in October, I'm gonna get a message be like, "Wait, it's not at McCaskey. We're at their campus."
And the funny part of being there is we're in the same locker room. When I was a senior, Coach Gursky broke the sink off the wall.
I hear that story every time we're at Catholic.
We walk in and I see that and I just look around and laugh because that water was coming up over our ankles before any of us moved.
Is that building still there? Because they completely redid that entire...
Well, the last time we were there was there. Put it that way. We've been Catholic, yes, in a while.
That was Roman clay.
I walk in, I'm like, there's a sink.
Yeah, I that may have been the first time I heard that story.
Okay.
Was in 2012. That was a great game.
Yes, that was
stopping Roman clay short on 4th near the end of the game.
Yeah, that was neat.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was a good defense too. Junior Joseph,
kids had some fun in that one. Yeah, Madison Miller.
Yeah,
Dominic Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some nice kids. The kids played hard and they took that game to challenge, and they because they were ranked, I think, state-wise in that game.
Yeah.
And they came in, and our kids played really well defensively. They were happy with their performance.
So you're going back to Catholic for the first time since then.
Yes.
A dozen years or more than that.
Seeing our old nemesis, Todd Mealy.
Right, yeah. So that was one thing I wanted to touch on, some coaching changes, opposing coaches. You still have Gore at Cheltenham, Chang at Plymouth Whitemarsh, Falzone at Nazareth, Troy's at Reading. So the beginning, and you ran against Nick Lambros, not Wilson Nick Lambros, other Nick Lambros, which confused me for a long time.
Make sure you mistake because our Nick Lambros thinks he's prettier. So make sure you.
Okay. And then so it's year 2 for Lambros at Cedar Crest, and it's year 2 for Morrissey at Governor Mifflin. Hempfield, you're familiar with Coach Eager as well, but Penn Manor, new head coach.
Yeah, no idea what they're going to do.
So, Jordan Clark, I believe, is his name. So you're not familiar with. No. He was at Township, I believe.
He was, I think he was
defensive backs or specialist,
special teams coordinator, or something like that. Yeah.
He was there,
and he learned from Mark. So hopefully, learn from Mark and
Coach
can pick
Evans.
that up and just keep improving the program.
So yeah, well, I thought Coach Brubaker would be able to step in after Coach Mealy left.
Yeah,
and he just had a rough decade there.
He did. Mealy had a great record, and Brubaker came in and did the best he could, and had some nice athletes, and it just didn't work out for him. He had some real success at Manheim Central through the years, but it was time. Everybody gets to that point where it's time to step out, and so I don't know what to expect from them. I do know, rumor has it Mifflin's changing everything offensively.
Oh. Okay, we are going to have to come back to that.
Okay.
So Coach Clark at Manor, but then you mentioned Todd Mealy was at Penn Manor, then has had a few stops and other things since his Penn Manor journey ended, I think, in 2014. He's at McCaskey now. He is a McCaskey teacher. They've struggled for the better part of at least the last 10, 12 years, if not back to honestly, probably when I was playing was the last time they had super strong rosters. So he's got a task ahead of him, but
yes, he does.
He's had a lot of success at the places he's been in the past.
Yeah, Todd actually, we're pretty good friends. We spoke about this before we actually accepted it. Just got my thoughts on it, and honestly, to be honest, I told him, I said, high school football is not the same without you. We're a better sport with you in it. I know it's a tough program to go to and build, but Todd's a great guy. He took Penn Manor over what was 1-win seasons, and over you just see steady progress every year he was there.
Yeah, they broke through and were trying to topple Wilson in 2012 and 2013. We really saw them break through in 2011. That was like that Dalton Palmer team. But then they got, and now I'm going to the linebacker.
Went to Delaware.
Yes. Now Justin knows his name off the top of his head. I usually do too, and now I'm drawing
So do
a
I.
blank.
Now I'm blowing a blank too. They had two really good linebackers on that team.
Yes.
They were good. They were good. Charlie Bell.
Charles Bell. Yep. So those games in 2012 and 2013 were fantastic. Actually, 2013 you got to play them twice.
Yeah.
Both at home.
Which was nice. We were down the first
victories.
one by a bunch.
The first one you were losing at halftime.
Yeah.
I think 14-7. I think. And actually shut him out then in the playoff game. So that was but those 2012, 2013 games against Mealy and Penn Manor were fantastic.
Well, he does a great job he changed offenses there when he had different personnel. You know, from a defensive coach, he made you defend 53 1/3 yards. It wasn't like you're defending between the hashes or outside of the hashes. He made you defend the whole field from the offense he ran. So it was a very diversified offense, and he knows what he's doing. And I'll tell you what, they will be improved. I'll tell you right now.
So it'll be interesting to see what you get from the new head coaches in back-to-back weeks in Week 8 and Week 9. Hosting Penn Manor, no trip to the Sugar Bowl this year for Justin and me.
No, none
but,
for you.
I took a digital trip on the EA Sports College Football with Wilson. They had Penn Manor in it, so I had us be the away game. It's great, though, because whoever made the Penn Manor team made the Millersville field.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it says
that's
Ville
awesome.
in the middle. It says Millersville in the end zone. It's
that's
really,
cool.
really cool. Really well done. Last game, obviously, man, I'm Township. We know what we're getting from Coach Evans and Township. They're going to be ready to play. They're coming to Gursky this year.
And they can't wait. I mean, I saw him at the league banquet, and I asked him about a couple of his players, and he goes, "Don't worry, we'll be ready for you." And we're ready for him. And, you know, Mark said something before the game last year. It's a shame we, are such foes because, you know, we could be friends, you know, all the other days of the year. But we go into that one, and I'm not saying it's not like the Mifflin rivalry, but we know it's for pecking order, you know, and it's for pride at that point. And both programs want to do their best and, you know, hopefully succeed and win that game because that win determines a lot in district seedings.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously, league championships, there's a lot at stake at that game, but it's a game we look forward to, but yet you don't look forward to. You know what I mean? It's one of those type games.
Well, let's jump back to the probably only rivalry that matters more than Township is the Governor Mifflin rivalry. That game's in the middle of the season, has been that way for a while now. Hosting the Mustangs this year back at Gursky. I know the fans will be happy about not having to go over to the stadium at Mifflin with the bleachers, but I guess maybe next time we're there, we might be on the home side. What was the home side because they're doing construction, renovations, and I think they're flip flopping.
And it makes sense with that complex they built right next
right,
door.
Oh yeah, the GMAC or whatever they call it. Yeah. So you mentioned though that Coach Morrissey is changing things up.
Rumors. Again, these are rumors that people see, hear, whatever. I don't know. It could be social media. I have no idea. And what's nice is we don't open with them, which, you know, we don't have to prepare for anything we're not ready for. So we'll see them, you know, after they've already in some games.
Right. They'll have 5 games under their belt before you see them.
But, you know, I've heard that they're doing some things. I mean, they have a pretty good athletic quarterback now. Leaf, I think his name is.
LeBron Leaf, yeah.
Yeah, he's a big, strong kid. Real good at. Played linebacker, I think, last year.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's not a new guy. He might be new at quarterback, maybe, but he's been around.
But he might run, so who knows? Might be more of his own. We have no idea. And then it might be midline. Who knows what they go with?
So that technically they ran a midline. Is that what it was?
Well,
veer,
it was a variation. They ran veer, midline. It could be some wing T variation.
Right. That's
some different things off of it. It's a lot put together. Like we go in and we call us, okay, we're a spread offense. Or you could look at Arizona. I'm sorry, look at Air Force, Army, Navy. Okay, we're a flex bone, whatever they are. And Mifflin's done a really nice job of taking a little bit of everything and sprinkle it in. So when you can stop something, they have something to come back to. Mm-hmm. So, but now like I said, I've heard they're not going to be as much a running football team. I don't know if that's accurate.
So they must think then that Leaf has an arm because that's been the thing that's been holding him back probably since Jan Johnson left is they have that great rush first, rush second, probably rush third offense that works really well, especially if you haven't seen it or don't prepare for it properly. But they haven't had the kid with the arm that can make you second guess. Are they going to run it?
And it didn't really stretch the field a whole lot. And, you know, if you can stretch a field, that makes you have to play how much deeper and how much wider. So, but if you can't stretch a field with your quarterback, it does bring more people into the box in that situation. So, I don't know. Again, these are just things I've heard.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm glad we're not playing in week 1 because I would hate to go out there and not know what the heck we're doing in week 1. So, it's nice to be able to see them on film a little bit.
So now Mifflin's technically Section 2, so that game is irrelevant in terms of Lancaster-Lebanon League standings and section championship. Obviously means a lot for district standings because last year they joined us up in 6A. So a chance for maybe a second Mifflin meeting in the playoffs. The opportunity is there again.
Absolutely.
So that's
I don't
always
think,
fun.
now you can correct me, we've never beaten them twice in the same year.
Yes, we have. Actually, I'm trying to. Was it? Well, I know that it happened. I'm trying to think. Oh, it was the last game played at Old Gursky before the renovations happened.
Okay.
2012. We're back to 2012. We're back to Junior Joseph, Matt Rothrock, that group of guys. Timochenko at quarterback. Eventually, for the playoff game for sure. You open the season with them at Gursky, and then actually close Gursky with them.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Dual playoff,
Okay.
dual games that year. I know what it was. It's the first year of the Gursky Lynn Trophy, and we beat them twice.
Okay.
First year we had the trophy, we got to pick it up twice.
Yeah, all I remember is losing to them twice.
That was 2006.
My son's senior year.
Yeah, that was 2006.
Yeah, it's tough because I never lost him as a player. My one son never lost to him a player, and then Alex lost twice in 1 year. And the first game was tough. Second game, he whooped us pretty good.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was taught. I've never lost to Mifflin. That was the only time I lost to Mifflin was when they had this guy by the name of Nick Singleton. I'm talking about middle school now.
I've heard of him.
We had beaten Mifflin. Me and Anton had beaten Mifflin every time we played him.
Yeah.
And then Nick Singleton was there, and it was tough. It was tough to.
Yeah.
That was with Goose Leonard and.
We might see his name a little bit in the fall too.
Yeah, you might. It might pop up. So. Looking just at Section 1, and we know Wilson and Township will be right there. Is there another group of or another team that stands out as one that you're thinking they could have a pretty good year this year? Because I know I have one. I'm wondering what you think.
Looking through it, I think Hempfield did some nice things the end of last year. They lost to Cedar Crest in the playoffs. But they did some nice things. And
Catch is back, their quarterback. Yes. And always help when the signal caller's back.
And, Ager's a great staff, great guys with great experience, and they can figure things out pretty well. Townships, obviously, they're going to be tough. Cedar Crest graduated a lot, but those kids play hard. Nerv Zimmerman's back at running back, and he's a stud.
Yeah, that's the one that I was thinking about. Hempfield would be next. I think those are the two right there. I think everyone, Wilson Township's, 1A, 1B, however you want to throw them on the rankings. I know Drago's already done his. I'm waiting for Lancaster to come out with theirs. But Wilson Township are right there, considered vying for the one spot. Yeah. Right behind, to me, though, is Cedar Crest.
Cedar Crest, it's going to be interesting. Cedar Crest, their quarterback, Cluster, I think his name was. Custer. He was as important to them as Maddox was to us.
Okay.
He wasn't. This is not knocking a kid. He wasn't a great thrower. He wasn't the greatest runner.
He had that moxie.
He did it. And honestly, going into the first game, I said he's a guy we got to stop.
Yeah.
Zimmerman's a great running back, and he's going to get his yards. And we got to do our best, but we got to try to contain him. And we did the first time, and the second time we went down to scout him against Hempfield, and Custer had another phenomenal game. And the same thing with him, listen, we can't let this kid beat us. I mean, he didn't have all the tangibles that you see in a quarterback, but he just had something. And losing him is really going to hurt them. I don't know if that's tough to get a quarterback like that.
Yeah, it's almost, I wish you could take the Hempfield quarterback returning, put it on the rest of the Cedar Crest. If Custer was back, I would be very interested to see what Crest can do. But they're still the ones that I'm thinking. And for Wilson, it's an away game. I don't know if Township plays them away now, but you got to go to Lebanon for that. The junior group that they have, I know, is super strong. They graduated a lot from last year, and maybe they're a year away. I don't know. But they impressed me, at least the first game last year. That was a tough game. I think it was 14-7, right?
We got a goal line stand.
Yeah, so that was a tough one at Gursky last year. The playoff one went a little bit better in Wilson's favor, but that mid-season, Game 5 at Cedar Crest at Earl Bolt Stadium, that one is an interesting one for me.
We've struggled there in the past, too. I mean, we go down there sometimes, and they have a great crowd. They're very emotional, play hard, and they jump all over you. And 2 years ago, we were down there. We survived. I mean, we had the pick at the end of the game.
Edison Case coming back, playing some defense, and his interception and pretty much sealed the deal. We
turned the ball over a couple times, and it was a tough one in the second half, and we scraped and clawed to get out of there.
Even in 2021, that was right around the time where things were right in the ship at Wilson, but having to go down there, they made you work for it.
Oh yeah, they do. They play a physical brand of football. They play hard, and it's just better for Section 1 over and all. But teams keep getting better. I mean, back when you played, I mean, we probably had 3 teams that were pretty good. 4 teams. We had the gauntlet to run.
People
through.
are probably tired of hearing about when I played because Justin and I bring it up all the. He's only a year older than me. He didn't play football, but he's very familiar with all the names and what was happening in LO football at that time. When you talk about the Cedar Crest, McCaskey, what Wilson had, and it's just. Reading was the other big one then. Reading, McCaskey, Cedar Crest, and Wilson. Those four teams from like 2000 to 2003, 2004, like that 4 or 5 year period. It was wild. Yeah,
absolutely. It was a tough league.
Well, I remember my sophomore year, which I thought was an incredibly talented Wilson team with Andy Rowland and Brett Harbach. Chad's freshman year, had to share the league championship because we lost to Cedar Crest.
Yep.
At Cedar Crest.
At home.
No, that was next year was the one
at
home.
At home.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll bring it up. It was the last time Cedar Crest beat Wilson.
Was it?
Yeah.
We got shut out that year too.
It was 21-0.
Yeah.
It ended the Gursky Stadium winning streak of like 7 or 8 years. Yeah.
I remember that. Was Jaron Hayes on that team?
That was his senior year.
Kirsch.
Brandon Kirsch and Jaron Hayes, yeah.
Yeah. They had a good run. Kirsch, the quarterback. They had a good wide receiver that went. I think he went to Purdue out of that team too.
Kirsch went to Purdue.
Kirsch. Okay.
I don't know if I know they had Kirsch went to Purdue, Hayes went to Michigan State, and then the McCaskey guys. Patterson went to Syracuse and Melendez went to Maryland.
Well, the neat thing is Chad beat him before he was in college, which is nice for Chad. He beat Hayes 4 times. So.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Very important. Yeah. So that was actually going into my senior year. Cedar Crest was a team that my class hadn't beaten. We lost them. We lost them at Cedar Crest and then at Gursky.
Who was the coach of them back then?
Was it? No, that's not right. I was gonna say Feldman, but that's not. I don't remember.
I forget who it was. Yeah,
I don't remember.
No, neither do I. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I get kind of tunnel vision sometimes, so next year.
So opposing coaches, I'm not always the best memory. The one I know I'll never forget is George Chomp.
Oh, the Chomper, yeah, he's a good dude.
But all right, so let's talk more specifics about we got about 15, 20 minutes left. Okay. So let's focus on the team this year and your defense. How hard was the defensive side hit with graduation losses?
Up front, we got hurt worse than anywhere.
Okay.
We lost pretty much everybody. Well, Mel's back at defensive end, but other than that, we lost the rotation guys up there. We have a couple back, but not many. I mean, up front right now, we're looking at a rotation of Malachi Tolles, Jay-Z, Jesse Etchberger, Michael Glover, Mel Gaston, and I hope I didn't remember his names. But those are the guys, and those guys are doing real well. All of them saw a little bit playing time last year. Tolles was the one who came from Milton Hershey. He couldn't play in the playoffs, but had a pretty prominent role in defense in mid-season.
And he's back.
He's back. Everybody's looking great. At linebacker right now, inside we have E.J. Brownback, which is back from last year. The other linebackers kind of question marks. We're not sure. We have Wyatt competing for that. We have Joel.
Sophomore.
Yep, Joel competing as a junior. We have Travis, who's a freshman.
Oh, okay.
Southern.
Yes. But how do you say his last name? Bassoon. Okay.
Yeah, he's competing in there. We just moved Hatch to linebacker.
Oh, Miles got moved to linebacker. We think
Miles can make some influence. So we're not set in there yet. We're trying to divvy through and might have to do like a committee who we're playing and type of offense we're running.
Well, and you said that you don't sit in a 4-4 as much as you had before. So maybe that middle linebacker can figure things out here over the summer and then the first week.
And we're getting better. Don't get me wrong, we're getting better, but nobody has distanced themselves from each other yet. So they're all kind of competing for that same role.
And you have a few guys that got reps outside last year back.
Yeah, we have Harding's back. Harding played most of the season last year, missed a little bit for injury times. We have Kramer back. Mm-hmm. Kramer played quite a bit last year. Yep. He's coming off some injuries, so he's trying to get himself back into shape.
Okay.
Cole Peterson will definitely compete for playing time.
Now he moved down from safety.
Yeah, he moved up from safety. He just has that savviness. He knows the game. He's smart, so he'll help us definitely in certain situations. We also have Farrell, who's a sophomore. Real big, strong kid, very coachable, very physical. At 7-on-7s, people love him because most tight ends are on the ground. He's a big, strong kid and pretty physical. So, those guys are working in there, but again, somebody else could jump in. In the secondary, we feel as though we got 3 starters at corner. We got Rel, we got Damian, and we got Carp. So we feel like any of that we can interchange with those three.
All played a ton last year too.
All played exactly, ton of experience. Damien's a running back. We have Cart playing wide out, and we have Rel playing running back, so we can get a nice rotation with those guys. At safety right now, it looks like Chase Herb and Monty.
I was going to say, I figured
Monty.
it was Monty.
Yeah, those two started last year for us. We had some flexibility with Gruber last year, could move him around a little bit.
Now, losing Gruber, obviously a huge hit, but it sounds like everyone else in your secondary is seasoned, experienced.
They are, and they're playing. I'll use Rel. Rel's playing fantastic at corner now. He's understanding what we were trying to do. He's now a senior. He's understanding the game a little bit better. He understands what we're trying to do and why we're trying to do it. Carpy's doing a great job, phenomenal athlete, and really bought in. And Elijah Dean, I'll give Elijah Dean credit. He really never really contributed much to the defense side of the ball, but he's been around all summer working hard at safety, so he might end up being our third safety.
Okay. That's good to have, especially because all those names you said, I think, also play on offense.
Yeah, most of them. We try to up front. We try not to, get guys playing. But EJ's kind of a situational player on offense. Farrell won't play much offense. Harding won't play much offense. We'll have a lot of guys. I'm looking at probably going 6-7 guys playing one way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. And the guys, I mean, you look at it, the secondary guys are generally your better endurance than the guys in the front seven,
Yes.
or however you want to call it.
And what's nice
if
if Rel's a nice run, you throw Damien, and we're not losing
Right.
anything. Carp is a big play, you throw Damien, we're
Sure.
not losing anything. So we can work off that. So we're pretty confident in a group of those three. And then Jackson Becker's doing a real nice job at corner. He's learning corner and safety. He's going to kind of line of our special player that we can do things with. So the guys are working hard. And on paper, we look good. On the field, we're getting together. So hopefully it all comes together for us.
Okay. So, you just mentioned a bunch of names, probably at least 15, 16 guys.
Yeah, I got them remembered this time.
No, well, I want you to now focus on one. Who's one that people didn't know, like didn't really play last year or didn't have as many opportunities? Who's the one guy who you think, even if he's not a starter, just someone who people will know by the end of the year? They all know the name.
Malachi Tolles.
Malachi Tolles.
He came to us last year, was in a rotation, didn't play a ton. We were pretty good at nose last year. He really took the weight room seriously. His body looks great. He's flying around the field. It's constant effort. He will be a kid that most of you guys will recognize and see him in the backfield running around causing havoc.
Would you say your defensive line is not compared to last year or anything, but do you see them more as a quickness finesse group, or are they more of a power?
Right now, I'd say we lean more towards the finesse side. We're trying to use speed. I mean, they can get physical. I mean, Michael's, at end at 230, 235. Mel's probably 240. They can be physical when they have to be, but we try to make up for that by being fast. Our linebackers can fly and make plays, so they can mix it up. And again, we'll go to a 4-man front if we have to. If we get in a real tight situation, now you can throw Malachi and Jay-Z down at tackles, and now you got that much more mass and things to go. So they should be okay.
What brings you back each season to continue coaching?
Oh man. Well, this season's a little different.
Yeah.
In case you guys don't know, my wife and I moved to Mandio, North Carolina. She got an opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm so proud of her for this. We were talking to move to Outer Banks when we retire, and something came up at the hospital. She's a respiratory therapist. Just in a whim and a prayer, it's threw all together in like 6-8 weeks. So we got it all worked out. So she's working down there. God bless you. I love you, honey. And she's a star of the family. But no, she got the job down there. So we're like, all right, let's go. So I moved down there with her, and I've been down there for 20 days this summer, completely combined. I'm now back at football full time, living with my son Ryan and Alex. Well, Alex lives near us, but Ryan lived with Ryan. What keeps bringing me back? Well, when Jill got the job, I looked at her and said, honey, should I get out? And she goes, you have too much passion. You love it too much. You can't. So she said, I won't even take the job if you leave because of me. So it was a really good decision we made, and I'm going to be here, and our marriage is 40 years strong. So not concerned about it. But what keeps me coming back is, honestly, I'm 61, and I love being around kids. I mean, I really do. I love being around the kids, just hearing them, trying to get them, be better people overall, trying to teach them small lessons of life. I mean, high school football is 3 years. Let's face it, Joey, it's 3 years. It's not your whole life.
No.
But you know what? You can learn a lot from it, and it can take you, and you can pursue things you didn't pursue before. You know, it gives you openings. It gives you the work ethic. It gives you got to be there at 6:30 every day for doubles. You know, you got to be there at 7 o'clock for lifting. It's a lot of commitment, and to walk away from that, and you can walk away from that. You can actually take that the rest of your life and do it. So what keeps me coming back ultimately is the kids. When I'm not around the kids, I feel old sometimes. You know.
Yeah, they'll definitely keep you young.
Oh, they do. They keep me on my toes. I mean, they keep me up with the lingo, and I get it all messed up all the time. But I try. But honestly,
And that's what they say to you in the films. Yeah, all the lingo, all the
exactly.
coverage, all the alignments.
Yeah, a lot of words fly out. Do you understand what I say? And some of them do, and some of them don't. But it's keeping me back for that. I mean, I just love being around the kids, and also the game of football. I mean, I love it to death, and I think it's the neatest thing in the world. And watching 11 guys go out there, and if 11 guys don't work together, you're not successful. And if 11 guys don't do their job, hey, he didn't do his job. I don't care. You do your job. We're worried about his. And just 11 guys working together, and then you bring 80 guys together, 80, 90 kids, and have team unity and have that bond. And these kids go on, and I still get calls from kids who graduated many years ago. I still always say they're all my kids. Like I say, I'm here. I'm going to help you any way I can. So that's what keeps me coming back. So honestly, this year, the thought of getting out was just there for my wife because she sacrificed jobs and sacrificed moving places because of her profession. And it was time for her to have her time. So she went, and I can't wait to come back. And I'm not saying it's my last year either.
Leaving the door open.
Yes.
Continuation.
Absolutely.
The end is not here. There's an open chapters of that book.
Absolutely.
Right?
And if things go well with Ryan, I got a place to stay.
Right.
So I'm really not worried about it.
All right. So just a few minutes left here.
Okay.
Let's get your opinion on. It's not really Wilson related at all.
Okay.
It's just, and I think I've asked you this over the years. We've seen high school football change a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as much in the rules as we've seen some other sports. You know, at least professional baseball has gone a lot of changes the last 4 or 5 years.
I have to ask questions sometimes about that, by the way.
To me, for the better. And Justin and I can
agree.
talk about that. But I think
I agree with you.
I think people like baseball more now than they did 5 years ago, and I think
I agree
those
with
rule
you.
changes have a lot to do with it. I know
Absolutely.
baseball purists probably, as much as they would also hate the Savannah Bananas, they probably hated all the changes that have happened. But I think it's better for the game. But
I agree with you 100%.
and high school sports specific, we have heard the discussions now about adding a shot clock in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be adding, I believe, the safety base at first base in baseball. So there's some tweaks coming in high school sports. Does high school football need a tweak anywhere that you can think, or is there a change that has happened in high school football that you love or you hate? Like, just high school football in general, the health, your expectations, your hopes, things you would change. Just
High school football is changed drastically, and even I've been coaching here as my 30th year, and it's changed drastically along those times. You have so many single sport athletes now that are playing football year round, whether it's flag football, whether it's training, whatever. So the athletes are better football players at the high school level. And what happens is, I'm going to try to word this the best way possible. A lot of those best players end up at the same place, at the same school. So it's not like you're playing with your friends from the backyard you play with your whole life. It's like you see some success and add a kid here, add a kid there. And I really wish there was more control. I know the state and District 3 has tried to do what they can with kids moving around. But it's still happening. I wish it would control that a little more. It's just, I'm not mentioning any schools here, as you know what I'm talking about. But I wish it would keep more watch on that. I think that would make football healthier. I wish two schools I wish they'd split public and private. That's something that work. Personally speaking, what I'd like to see changed is in the NFL and college is the defensive substitution rule. Because high school is, if you have to run to the hashes, but some teams, and by accident, by not, I'm not accusing anybody, but they're running 13 guys on and off the field during a play. So you don't know what actually you have on the field. If you have a power set, a spread set, what do you have? So defensively is at a huge disadvantage that way because you can't sub to match the personnel offensively. Now, those people who love offense probably love the rule. You know what I mean? You come out in a 4-4 and all of a sudden come out and spread with a bunch of receivers, you're in trouble. But I wish that rule would change. I wish it gives us a chance to sub defensively.
do you see technology becoming a larger player in high school football in the next few years? Because I believe it was Texas has now adopted replay.
I don't know and here's the problem with that, Joey. I don't know if they're just going to do that in the playoffs or something because a lot of the schools don't have finances.
Right.
that's an expensive unit, and to get through all that stuff, and that's hard. And school athletic budgets are what they are, and that's gonna be now if the state comes in and says, hey, we're implementing everything, we'll see what happens. But I think that's really hard, especially some of your small schools that are around that have small rosters or single A programs. That's just an added expense. And we're a 6A, we get taken care of by the school the best they can. We raise money with different events to try to supplement. But those small schools, I'm not sure what the expense of that would be. But now you're talking about adding how many other officials, how much longer game time. There's a lot of errors in play. What's going to be the rule on that? You do turnovers, touchdowns. You know what I mean? There's so much gray matter in the middle there.
Sure.
I don't know if it's going to get to that. I hate how it would slow down a game. That would bother me.
How about technology in terms of helmet-to-helmet communications?
Let's face it. Michigan supposedly was on for stealing signs. There's not a team in the world that doesn't take a look and try. Now it's not on film. You don't spend hours trying to decipher it. But during a game, you get they do this. Okay, that's a bubble. Okay, we got the bubble. Little things like that. So would it help? Absolutely. Both sides, yes. Again, cost-wise, that's a problem. But I would love to do that because there's some times when somebody comes out in something defensively and I see it, and I want to get that information to my linebacker or D-back or whatever, and I can't get it to him. So I know it shuts off in the NFL, I think, with 15 seconds left.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Something like that. But you get your call in quick, and they come out in there, and they come out no huddle. At least you can get some variations off of it and make some calls. So I think that will be nice. It's a lot less of a hand signal, and quarterback's not running off in the back. I mean, they're running 30-yard dashes, 40, 50-yard dashes how many times? So that would make things better. Again, signaling is nice. You got to make it so teams don't pick it up. You got to change it a little bit here or there. But I would agree with the communication system.
Last thing about propagation down from college, because it's been adopted in Pennsylvania, though you don't hear a lot about it, as the NIL, money in high school athletics. Has that come up at all? Have you heard discussions about it? Has anyone talked to you about it? Any players, other coaches, has it come up at all?
It's something we talk about at the college level. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard it personally. We hear, you hear rumors of people getting this or that, but I don't know if it's prevalent right now. We really don't discuss it much. I think it's something that got to be controlled if it gets to that point. I mean, a little bit, but the quarterback at where is he? Vanderbilt this year. What's his 9th year of college?
Is that Diego
9th year?
Pavia?
Because they took away his junior college years. And he had the COVID year, and he's been playing college football for 9 years. Guy's probably made $20 million. He never do anything pro. I don't, no disrespect, but I don't think he's a pro player. At 29, you're not going to be a pro player.
There's certainly positives and opportunities out there for people who aren't going to play football professionally. It just seems that collegiately, and I'm glad we haven't really seen it much in high school yet, but it's gotten out of hand.
Does Pennsylvania allow it?
Pennsylvania does allow it.
They do allow it. Okay, I didn't know.
But if I'm reading into it the right way, they allow it, but it doesn't make any sense in that, well, one, I don't believe the coaches can have any impact on it whatsoever. Like, there's no oversight. Or I shouldn't say, they can't be involved in helping further a relationship for a player.
Okay.
But if the player ends up getting caught, it's the coach's fault or something. Like Doug's talked to me about it. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's that gray matter area. There's always that gray space that nobody knows.
And the thing that doesn't make any sense, it can't be involved with Wilson grads. Wilson grads, it can't be a business that a Wilson is a Wilson alumni, which I'm like, well, those are the exact people that are going to offer.
Who's going to offer money unless you're alumni?
So, now, this was back in 2022, I want to say, when they put it's very confusing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it hasn't come up.
Now, I wonder if St. Joe's or Central Catholic or LaSalle, I wonder if they have kids down there that are actually NIL related. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Is there NIL tuition?
I have no idea. I don't know.
So many, so many areas that just, and that's what kind of makes it an unlevel playing field sometimes, I mean, we can't offer kids some of the things other people offer them, obviously. Even though, Wilson's paying for a trip spot to North Carolina. Watch that rumor get around.
Yeah, right.
I have a personal plane going back and forth on weekends.
A private jet.
Even though I won't only see my wife for four games out of this whole season. So that's just a rumor, guys. But yeah, again, who would do that, Joey? Just alumni. That's ridiculous.
Well, that's what I didn't understand. When I read it, I was like, am I reading this right? And I sent it to Justin, a few years ago. This is saying Pennsylvania is allowing high school athletes to benefit off their name, image, and likeness, but the coaches can't have anything to do with, they can't facilitate relationships, and the anything that the player's getting, it can't be coming from anyone associated with the school, including like graduate. Like it can't be. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
No, that's where you're getting. Look at the college programs. We're getting their alumni.
Well, like West Shore Homes sponsoring Beaver Stadium. He's a Penn State graduate.
Yeah, that's
of course he is.
Yeah, look at the signs around Gursky Stadium. Who has signs up there?
Yeah.
People that mom and in Wilson football.
Yeah, like people talk about Instashine Field at Gursky Stadium. Because he played football at Wilson. I already mentioned his name this episode. It's Andy Rowland.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
But why would you, like, whether I want NIL to be involved in athletics or not, it's happening. And of course it's going to be Wilson graduates that want to further, it doesn't even have to be football related. It can go anywhere. Like this is a football program, so we're talking through football lenses. But it's not limited to just football.
No, an alumni came to me at a function, I don't know, a year ago or so, said, "How do we get better?" I'm like, "Coach the kids we got. Do we need better kids?" I'm like, "That's not up to me." I don't know what to say. I mean, go ahead and do what you got to do, but something that we can't be involved in.
Right.
I mean, we'll coach who we got, and hey, would you love to see a 6'7", 300-pound offensive tackle walk out of a car and say, "Hey, I just moved here"? Heck yeah.
Yeah. Man, that would be something. Though a lot of size this year.
Yeah, we are long. We are longer than we've been in a long time. Not as beefy, but long.
Right. Yeah. You got the height. You got the height for sure. It was nice to find Avery Manara and Jesse Etchberger last year come in and play tackle. I think Jesse's moving to guard though this year.
Right now, I think there's a little injury with somebody else. One of our tackles might think is back a little bit, so they're kind of shuffling a little bit right now. But again, we'll find out. Again, we don't start till a week from Monday, so a week from tomorrow, so then we'll figure things out.
Yeah, but Avery and Jesse got size on them. Michael Glover, obviously, Mel's pretty tall too.
Eli's got long arms.
Eli for sure.
So we got some long arms. I mean,
Jaden.
Barima, a tight end, can catch the ball and run the ball. Rel has hands like a wide receiver. Rear catches the ball. Both rears catch the ball out of the backfield. So, but no, we got some height. Definitely, it's the tallest team I've been associated with.
Yeah,
honestly,
that's the one thing that I always think about at Wilson. I'm like, I feel like we never have the size that you see on some of these teams, like that come to visit us. We go to them. I always think about the Hempfield team in 2013, the year after the 2012 team that we were talking about, but with Timochenko his senior year and Johnny Rafe Snyder. And we went down there, and it was when the locker rooms were still by the entrance. Yeah. And I was standing there. I had just gotten there, and they walked out, and I thought I was at a D1 school.
They were monsters.
Those linemen were they were all like 6'5".
Yeah, they were.
I couldn't believe it.
And honestly, in my opinion, one of the best offensive lines we ever had was your senior year.
Yeah, and we weren't tall.
Who was the
at
tallest
all.
kid on that line? Maybe
on the line. I guess probably Sean probably.
At
yeah.
6'1"?
Well, you're talking Tony Setley, Brad Baver,
no disrespect,
Zach
boys.
Goldberg, Chad Broski, Chris Sands, Sean Stanislaw.
Yeah.
It's like where.
Chad stood out in that huddle. How about it? Chad was
right.
the tallest guy in the
Chad. Well, Chad stood out for my senior year for sure. His junior year, because the years leading up to it, you had Andy Rowland, you had Mike Nelson, you had Kurt Riker, you had Dave Diaz. There was some, but then you come to my team and it's just like Chris Hartman.
Hey, Dean Millard, Chris Hartman.
Well, but Chris Hartman was the tall. Him and Chad.
That's it.
Everyone else was, you're like your average high school kid.
Exactly.
Not D1 football recruits
not
in terms
close.
of size.
Yeah.
In terms of strength and heart, I would say a lot of those guys could go toe to toe with a lot of the guys that go D1. So
McCaskey learned that, right?
They did. They learned that in the worst way. That's my favorite thing is that under Coach Contafio that Mr. Dallas and that group recorded everything.
Yeah.
Because even though that only happened from 98 through 04 or whatever, I have my entire career is documented.
That's awesome.
The entire time. I can go watch everything. And that 02 tape is phenomenal. All of it's up on the Wilson YouTube channel, by the way. I ripped all of them. I put them up. I actually tried to reach out to Mr. Dallas's family or who, because I was like, who owns that? I don't know who owns the rights to this.
I got you.
And I didn't want to put it out there without asking, can I do this? But I went through a bunch of emails and contacts, and no one seemed to either know who specifically owned that or if they thought anyone would care. So it's been up for a few years now. The 2002 one is very fun to watch.
I'm sure
the end
it is.
sucks, but
it does.
the rest of the season is
24-21, right?
No, it was actually 35-33.
33, we lost. We missed 2-point conversion.
2 point,
Play we practiced all year.
It got deflected.
Yep.
So, it's tough.
Real tough. Chris Sands, that's the heart broke for Chris Sands on that game.
But never out of it.
No.
Never out of it. Actually,
always battled.
On the chair next to you is actually Doc Moyer's scrapbooks.
Oh, yeah?
Because I've been going through them, trying to fill in gaps for Bulldog Hour history that I scrapbooks.
Oh, yeah?
It's tough.
Real tough. Chris Sands, that's the heart.
Great to fill in and grab information. So,
it's neat to look back at that stuff, and I hope the kids nowadays realize that. Like, these are memories. You never, you're going to have them forever.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point, making memories in high school.
100%. So, well, that's all I have for you now. That's really all we have time for. We could talk about a ton of other topics, but we got to as much as we could in an hour, and we're going to call it here. So, Coach Wolber, thank you so much for joining me.
Appreciate it, Joey.
Season 11, episode 2 of the Bulldog Hour. We'll be around a lot. Justin will be back. We are doing recorded interviews over the next few weeks, and then we'll be back live on August 10th. And there's actually going to be like 4 shows in a 7-day time period to get ready for the season. And then on August 17th, I think it's August 17th, Paul Roberts will join us the day after the scrimmage, and we will do a full season preview, game by game, and talk about everything to come for Wilson football this fall. I can't believe I'm saying it, but here we are. We're a week away from practice starting. The awful part of the year is over.
Yes.
And here we are, August through December, can't be beat. So
not at all. I can't wait for it to start.
Here we are. So, all right. So I think you and I can both say yes, Jill. We love being here. We love talking football. So this is great. Thank you so much. We will have so much more Wilson football to come. Thanks once again to defensive coordinator Ernie Wolber for joining me tonight, and to all of the new sponsors and old May's Sandwich Shop. Obviously, my dad has been around here for all 11 seasons, but we are so thankful to Gardner's Mattress and More for joining us on the program this year, as well as Realtor Eric Weiser from Berkshire Hathaway Home Sale Realty. So make sure you check out our sponsors, and if you're interested in sponsoring the program, just contact me, and we'll get you on the show. And like I said, there's a lot more coming. Especially August is the time to get in, because there is so many shows to do in August with so much great content. All right, that is it for us here at the Bulldog Hour. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again real soon.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Bulldog Hour. Want more Wilson football? Follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud, or visit www.bulldoghour.com. The Bulldog Hour is a featured program on jmnjrradio.com.